All right. So, so we got a few things we want to go over today. And to kick off LSG Live, just so everybody knows, I'm Chris Daly, founder of Lone Star Gridiron. Joining me is Grant Goodwin. If you listen to Sideline on Lone Star Gridiron, you know exactly who Grant Goodwin is. If you don't listen, you need to, because it's so good. Welcome, Grant.
Thank you. Your check's in the mail, by the way, for giving us props on Sideline to Sideline.
Nice. Well, it's the least I could do, right? Give you props, since I don't give you money.
You don't? Where are those checks coming from? We're getting checks from somewhere.
Oops.
Somebody told us it was from Carthage for giving them all the props this year so far.
Nice.
Carthage, Hallettsville, and Yoakum, I think, and Quora, I think is.
Speaking of which, I see you have a Yoakum shirt on. It is flipped in this scene, but when we put it on YouTube, we're going to reverse it so we'll be able to read these things.
There you go.
And I guess I should reveal my shirt for today. The Wimberley Texans.
Wimberley, the Texans. Hey, why don't I have one of those shirts?
I tell you what, this one I got. It must have been 8 years ago when I was.
Weldon Nelms.
Yeah, well, Weldon Nelms was at the high school, but I was coaching these kids that are the juniors and seniors now in Pee Wee. So I've held on to this one for a while. And
so what you're telling us is you have groomed JoJo Weeks to put up the numbers he's putting up right now, right?
Well, I had nothing to do with that, and he wasn't around then. But oh wow, we lost Grant.
Hello, we're back. We're back.
So was that some sort of earthquake or something?
Yeah. Here in Dallas, we have horrible tectonic plates.
Nice. I'm going to share this out to Gridiron since I forgot about that. Let me do that. Under a page. I manage a lot of pages for a lot of companies, so I have to be careful that I don't send this to the wrong one.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it says, sorry, the privacy settings don't allow me to share this. I guess I should figure out where those privacy settings are. Huh. All right, so next time we'll share it.
There you go.
Well,
maybe you can archive it and then share it.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump in. We got a few things to talk about. First thing that stood out to me was Duncanville and Cedar Hill. A lot of folks were picking Cedar Hill. Even though they had a not a great record going into this game, but Cedar Hill traditionally wins this game. But Duncanville came in, I think, 2 interceptions for a touchdown in the first quarter, ended up winning 41-6. This was a blowout.
Yeah, 2 pick sixes in the first quarter, and Duncanville had, I think, only 3 offensive touchdowns in this game.
Wow.
Which is pretty telling. And I think the total yardage offensively for Duncanville was like 220-something yards. I mean, and when you put up, 41 points, obviously there's usually going to be more than, 40 some odd or 220 yards put up. So
right.
Pretty telling on that Duncanville defense, man. We keep seeing how many points they're putting up every week, but
I tell you, one of the things that's kind of slid under the radar a little bit, you hear some people talking about it, is their coach Reginald Samples, who has quietly become the winningest black coach in UIL history. And he's done it at South Oak Cliff, Skyline, and now here at Duncanville. I mean, he turns programs around.
Well, and this is, at least Skyline, and look what, and at least Skyline, and when he's at Skyline, Duncanville is not winning the games they're winning now.
Right.
He leaves Skyline, look at Skyline now, and look at Duncanville now.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a guy that's been.
It's pretty telling.
Yeah, I think he went to a state championship at South Oak Cliff. Didn't they play Kilgore in that one?
Was it Kilgore?
I think it was.
Yeah. No, that was Lincoln, I believe, that played Kilgore. Was it not?
I'm not sure. I thought it was.
Or Kimball, Lincoln. Yeah, but yeah, they've made some. They had made some deep runs.
Yeah.
Their last notable one was the Fox game, Skyline over at Ford, at SMU, where they kind of had Southlake on the ropes, and then the mysterious Highland Park City's Fox runs across the field, and after that was all she wrote.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's jump to the next game, and this is one of the ones you went to this week. Kennedale, West Orange Stark. What a game.
Yeah, it was, man. From the get-go, we knew this was going to be a heavyweight fight. You're defending state champion West Orange Stark, who lost a lot of players, right, to graduation, most notably, their quarterback, Jack Dallas. They lost a lot of those key defensive guys off of one of the best defenses that any classification has seen. Yeah. Daingerfield and Katy notwithstanding. And so a lot of people were picking Kennedale, who was the up-and-comer, lost a heartbreaker in the semifinals to Abilene Wylie last year. Had everybody back, a better team than what they were last year, and they were darn good last year. And that wing tee that they're running now is just deadly, one of the most just prolific offenses in the state right now, Kennedale. I mean, they can rack it up on the ground, and they're still pretty formidable in the passing game, but they don't really need to even throw. I mean, if they don't want to, they can if they want to. They could just run it down your throat. They got so much speed. So a lot of people were picking Kennedale for that fact, that they were so much better than they were last year. Right. And West Orange Stark was supposedly down. Well, that, both teams came in, and, a lot of people say, that Kennedale might have spit the bit turning the ball over, but, I don't see that as being the case. Yeah, they didn't help themselves, but, West Orange Stark had like 7 snaps that went, 3 or 4 of them went over the quarterback's head. The rest of them went, the other 3 or so went just through the quarterback's hands. They didn't field it cleanly. But every time they lost 20 to 35 yards on those, so they left points on the field. Kennedale left some points on the field. At the end of the day, I see where West Orange Stark's defense just stepped up. They made their living on what they made their living off last year, defense. And they did it again this year, and Chaka Watson, he's not Jack Dallas, throwing for, 300 and 400 yards a game. But let me tell you, he can burn you on the zone read and off tackle. And then overtime, of course, he just took that one to the house from 20-some-odd yards for the win just between the tackles. He's got speed. Kevin Cooper, he can run the ball effectively. I mean, he's fast, but they have a strong running game that can control the clock if they don't break long ones. But they can dig at you, and then they got a great defense again to back it up, and that's what you saw. The incumbent saying, "We're not ready to give up the title." Right. So the defense is, as we said on Sideline to Sideline show, both of these teams had something to say, and they had, people had questions about them, and I think both of these teams answered those questions this past Friday night. Yeah, so you walk away from that game not feeling worse about either team, right? No, not at all. I mean, maybe West Orange Stark's not as good as they were last year, but they're a different team, and they're still fully capable of winning a title. I still think it comes down to probably between them, Navarro, and Quora down in that region. I think one of those 3 make it, and Western Stark's just capable of anybody to make it. And then I think from what I saw from DJ Curvin, Stowers, J.D. Knowles, that offense that Kennedale put out the other night with the speed that they've got, and then their defense, which is very underrated. They lost Baron Browning, the linebacker, to graduation to an FBS school. And that defense is as good, if not better, than last year. And they they did have some turnovers, but all in all, they are a cleaner football team. The assignments. I was talking with somebody about the loss of Baron Browning for Kennedale and what a huge part of the team he was last year. And what we came to the conclusion was that he actually may have hurt the team unity
being such a standout, and now they have to work together and they have to, perform as a team.
That could be, I mean, sometimes you always hear about, these stud players and everybody else is looking around, looking to that guy to make the play. If he's not there, then everybody knows they got to pitch in and play gap assignment.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, Kennedale did outgain West Orange Stark, though West Orange Stark had shorter fields to deal with. Over 100 yards probably was lost on those bad snaps that they had. But outside of that Kennedale defense, they did limit West Orange Stark to well under their average.
Right.
And the West Orange Stark defense did too. But that Kennedale defense, I think, is a better defense than what they were last year, even with Browning. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, we're gonna redirect a little bit. This I don't know if you ever go on Quora, Quora. It's a site where you can waste a lot of time, and basically people ask questions, and I've been on there for a couple of years answering questions related to Texas high school football, and I got probably the weirdest question the other day, and I thought I'm just going to throw it out to the fans here, see what they think about it. Then you and I can discuss it at the bottom of the show when we get to the end.
Boy, I'm kind of worried to hear what this question is.
The question
coming
is,
up before. We'll try to answer it.
Yeah, where to go here? Okay, no, I lost it. All right, could a high school football team of 30 players defeat an adult Siberian tiger in unarmed combat? So yeah.
Okay, let me get this. Can a high school football team of 30 players beat one Siberian tiger or a whole team of Siberian tigers?
One Siberian tiger in unarmed
Siberian
combat,
tiger.
so no weapons. But again, we'll stew on that and get back to that at the bottom of the show, and hopefully you will get some feedback.
Oh boy, I'm going to have to put a line out on this for betting purposes and maybe an over/under.
Nice. All right, so let's jump to a game that I believe you're the only one who's picked one side of this game. We have Texarkana Pleasant Grove and Gilmer. And I think you're the only one out of our group who has Pleasant Grove. So talk to me about this one.
No. Actually, no, that was Terry.
Oh, was that Terry?
Picked Pleasant Grove.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Good.
Though,
you're not crazy then.
I was very close to picking Pleasant Grove in this one. I've been back and forth. And are our picks locked down right now?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking about after we hang up here, running in and changing it.
No, they are locked down.
I guess I can't change it now. But, yeah, Terry had picked Pleasant Grove. I think he was the solo pick on that. Everybody else, we all picked Gilmer. But taking his side, man, I mean, look what they're doing. They run the wing tee offense, much like Kennedale, and they're running it effectively. Their defense is giving up 14 points a game on average. That's it, 14 points. Gilmer, now, it's hard to sorry, mosquitoes out here. Gilmer and Pleasant Grove have a common opponent in Liberty Islo. Now, to Gilmer's defense, that was the first week of the season. A lot of those games are kind of goofy anyway.
Yeah, I don't count those at all.
First game of the season. But Texarkana rang Gilmer up for over 40 points. Right. And Pleasant Grove held Liberty Islo LE to 14 points or so, right? Something like that. That's a little bit telling. I mean, that's how good that Pleasant Grove defense is. They're putting up big points. But, DeCorian Phillips had a field day against Gilmer, and Gilmer had to eke that one out, late into the fourth quarter and win that one in a just offensive shootout. And, Pleasant Grove left no questions in their game against Liberty Islo. Now, LE did cough up the ball 4 or 5 times. I think there was quite a few turnovers, I think. How many of those were forced? I don't know. I wasn't at the game. I've seen some film off a huddle on it, but not the whole game. And sometimes the huddle films aren't quite, telling as well. Right. But from what I saw out of there, Pleasant Grove's the real deal on both sides of the ball. In saying that, I'm going back with why I picked Gilmer this week in a very close game under a possession. I think is kind of the same fact why I picked West Orange Stark to beat Kennedale last week, and one of them is Gilmer's the incumbent here. Pleasant Grove, we went pretty deep in the playoffs last year, but for all intents and purposes, Pleasant Grove, I think, is looked at as the newcomer right now, right? I mean, they're always solid, but, rarely are they this touted. And, I think one of the top 3 teams in this region. But I still think, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Yeah. And I think Gilmer's going to put pressure offensively on that Liberty ILO defense. Or not Liberty, I'm sorry, Pleasant Grove defense. I think Pleasant Grove's defense is going to be tested, as is Gilmer's is. But Gilmer's got so many playmakers. They can really stretch the field. They can go balanced offensively. And I think this Gilmer defense is a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. I know they've had a lot of turnovers on offense. They've given up a lot of points. But I just think they're a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. We saw some of that against Carthage. They got up on Carthage, limited Carthage to 12 points, I think it was, in the first 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters. If that Gilmer defense shows up, that showed up in the first 2 or 3 quarters against Gilmer, or against Carthage, I think Gilmer wins this ball game. But it's going to be close.
Yes, I guess I've had questions about the Gilmer defense for a couple of years now, because they're
and we all do, and I still do myself, but I do think they're a little bit better.
Yeah, and I tell you, when Papi Brown is on the field, anything can happen. And when I first saw him, I didn't think he was a quarterback. He does not look like a quarterback at all. Yeah, but he just performs.
Yeah. His stature, he kind of looks like maybe like a bowling ball type running back.
Yeah, exactly. That's who first time I saw him, I was sure that was the running back. And then I saw the number. I go, wait, that's Papi?
Yeah. But, he's so poised back there, and he doesn't panic. He just, from his freshman year or sophomore year, he didn't look like a sophomore, right? Making the decisions he made, and it doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt when you have all those weapons around you. Red Jones, the Lynch kid who is leading the team in receiving. He's got so many areas to dump it off. He can go deep. He's, the field is spread for him, and the offensive line they've got is a really good offensive line. So that helps, but his decision making, and he does value possessions, and he does not turn the ball over too much himself. They've had some turnovers this year, a couple of interceptions, a lot of fumbles and stuff, but that's the main thing, is he makes good decisions. He's very poised.
Nice. It's going to be a great game. I want to take a second real quick to plug something. This here is what's called helmet head, right? So you've
awesome.
You've got these heads, which where you can.
Are those styrofoam?
No, they're hard plastic, and there's another one. That's even cooler. It's a skull.
Wow, I've seen some styrofoam ones like that my grandmother used to put her with.
Yeah, no, and here's the cool thing about it, and let me show you. They light up. They're LED, and you can change the colors. And there's this little remote. What's that?
Did you put those on your front porch for Halloween?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, I wanted to pimp those out a little bit. They're available on Amazon. They're also available. You can click on our website, and it just links to Amazon. But helmet heads is what they're called. The coolest way to display your mini helmet. All right.
That's pretty cool. Hey, how about pimping out? Maybe I should pimp out something that you've worked on with Coach Ken Purcell. And, that's your book. that you guys came out with. What is it? Everything that I need to know. I learned from my football coach.
Yeah, let me see if I can. You can see it in the background against the wall there, right next to my Salina mini helmet.
There it is, right there.
I got that.
Tell me a little bit about that book. I still have not gotten a copy. I'm going to do that within the week. Can we get that on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's available in ebook and it's available in paperback. And the book is entitled "All I Need to Know I Learned from My Texas High School Football Coach," and it talks about what this sport teaches and how it helps develop young men. It teaches character, pride, poise, class, discipline. It teaches so many things, and it's been, I guess, under assault by liberal forces who really want it to go away, the sport.
Really?
Well, the sport, they think it's mean, and
okay.
They don't like people winning things. I just felt motivated and talked to Coach Purcell about it, and I felt motivated to tell that story about all the good that this sport does. It's more than just, Friday night's action and touchdowns. It's about building young men.
Right. Yeah. Perseverance, right?
Yeah. No doubt. And there's a few teams that are having to learn some perseverance right now this year. And every year.
Yeah, there are.
Cool. So let's move on to another matchup that is real interesting. And if you had asked me at the beginning of the season if this is going to be a great matchup, I probably wouldn't have imagined it. But we're talking Boerne versus Fredericksburg. Boerne's undefeated. Fredericksburg has one overtime loss. That's it. I mean, tell me about this game. What do you think here?
Well, their common opponent was Wimberley, right? Yep. And Boerne put it on Wimberley like 40-28. Fredericksburg loses to Wimberley in overtime, I believe, and within possession, obviously. I like the Klutz kid at quarterback here, for Boerne. He's got almost 1,500 yards passing. Fredericksburg's got a quarterback in the Flannery kid that has put up 700 or 800 yards passing. He's got several different receivers to go to, but I think the key here is the Klutz kid at quarterback Boerne. He's lighting it up. He's got a pretty good ground game to back him up, and this Boerne defense seems to be real as well. So Boerne, maybe outside of the hill country in central Texas, they probably, you guys down there, you're, in central Texas. Mm-hmm. So maybe that didn't sneak up on you guys as much, but statewide, I think the consensus is, where did Boerne come from?
Well, and the same thing with Fredericksburg. I wasn't expecting that either out of them this year.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But I've been very impressed with both teams. But Boerne, it's just, I'm like, wow. Now as if that region wasn't tough enough this last 2 years. Now throw them into the mix. Boy, there's going to be some playoff games that matter very early here. As over the past several years when we've had these split divisions, to me it doesn't seem like you've had these titanic matchups in the playoffs until 3 rounds deep. Well, now when Boerne's on the scene and you've already got all these other teams, there's going to be some round 1, round 2 that have a say in who shows up in Arlington, and that's very rare right now to get those,
Yeah,
I expect round 2. If you're a football fan and you don't have a dog in the hunt anywhere, kind of like me, where you just show up to wherever you find the best game, the meaningful game. Region 4 might be your money region in the playoffs this year, and I expect I should probably come down to Region 4 around Austin area and rent an apartment for the playoffs and just stay there.
At least for the first 3 rounds.
Any slumlords out there, I don't care, bed bugs, whatever. Just give me something cheap and I'll be down there. Because I'm very interested in Region 4 this year.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. And like you said, it's one of the regions where you get some really good games the first couple rounds, whereas you get a lot of blowouts in some of the other regions early on.
Right. Yeah.
But after that, then it's on statewide after that.
Right. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to go over? We've got a couple minutes.
You still do have the Siberian Tiger.
Oh, thank
right?
you. Thank you. I forgot about that. So give me your feedback on that one.
Huh?
Give me your feedback on that one.
So a team of 30 players on one field,
Right.
Against one Siberian
Well,
Tiger.
it didn't say a field. It said a team of 30 players, and that's where I have some questions.
Do we know who asked this question on Quora?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that guy's had a few late nights.
Well, the consensus of other people answering it are saying, oh, no, the Tiger will win.
The Tiger will win, really? Huh. Well, I'm going to say this. I think the team of 30 would win. Look, the Tiger's going to catch one of you. Hopefully it's not the ball carrier. Whoever he catches, he's eating the guts out
Right.
on the ground. He doesn't care what the other 29 are doing. So as long the Tiger's got 1 in 30 chance. A Siberian Tiger's got 1 in 30 chance of stopping a team of 30's ball carrier. The odds are 30 to 1.
I'm guessing he's dropping the ball, so he's not a ball carrier.
Siberian Tiger. And I can't believe we had to answer this question.
Nice. Well, here's my take on it. I said that Siberian Tiger, female's about 400 pounds, male's about 700 pounds. So depending on which one you get makes a huge difference. And then I said, what about the setting? Are we talking, in a room, or are we talking out in the tundra somewhere?
Oh, well, if you're in the room, then that changes my pick. I don't want any part of that. That's a no line for me. The Tiger wins every
No,
time.
see, I think that's better. I think that's better because, and it also matters, is there a plan? Because if a football team without a plan is just a bunch of meat running around. But if you have a plan, here's what I say you do. You've got the offensive line, the defensive line, they're 200, 250 pounds, and just the physics of it, they all go at the same time and just pin this thing down, right? And try to steer clear of its head. So you've got all this weight on it, and then you have the specialty players, the running backs, the defensive backs, the quarterbacks, and I'm assuming we get our uniforms. So they just line up and just run past it with their helmet, whacking this thing in the head while the linemen are holding it down. And I say the football team wins, but you're right. Someone will die. At least one of the players will die.
Yeah, somebody's going to die in this game. Exactly. Yeah.
But I think we take the Tiger.
1 in 30 chance. I don't know, man. I might forfeit that chance.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'd just say no. I don't want to play. All righty, Grant. I want to thank you for sitting down with me, and can't wait to go see some football. Where are you heading this week?
This week I'm kind of taking the week off. I'm going to a game, but I'm going to the Royse City Wylie East game. My sister is being inducted into the Royse City Athletics Hall of Fame on Friday night. So I'm going to the Royse City game to be there with my family, and we're going to join her on the field for the induction ceremony. And so I'm just kind of taking this week off. I'm still going to see Royse City. But we'll get back to the 3A and 4A trips. I think next week, the week after this coming week, after this week, if Pleasant Grove wins, we tell all the Pleasant Grove people out there, Pleasant Grove beats Gilmer, we'll be in Texarkana next week for the Pleasant Grove Atlanta game. If Pleasant Grove cannot pull it out, then we'll more than likely be at China Spring, La Vega.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
Either way, we take shirts and we take Frito pies and pickles too.
Yeah, and let me mention.
Let's go up to any game if you can provide those.
Also, let me mention that in the show, if you're a Booster Club person, Booster Club by sending us T-shirts, and we will wear them, a la what we're doing now. We'll wear the shirts. I'm going to put them on the backdrop of the studio as I finish them. So this Wimberley one will be going up next week. So yeah, we'll send the info about how you can get that stuff to us, and look forward to it next week.
All right, buddy, I'll be here.
All right, take care.
Same Same bat time, same bat channel.
Right. Let's see it.
LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.